Hi everybody. Sorry I'm a little late. Trying to get everything together. This energies have been quite intense. So I'm going to wait just a couple minutes to see who's going to pop on. I even had to take notes for myself because there's just so much going on. And but hopefully what we are experiencing will be setting us up for the energies for 2020. So we're going to be talking about the energies and the numerology associations with today's date being a full moon, which we peaked at 12:12 this morning. And I call it one shit kicker of a powerful full moon. So I wanted to know how many of you were feeling that and experiencing that. This isn't not only the last one for this year, but the last one for the decade. And it's a triple 12-3, meaning there's three 12s. So on a day that, which equals out, when you break it down in numerology, a 3, on a 12-12, so that's a 24-6 as far as the time goes. So one of the things I associate the number 12 with, for some reason, and I know not a lot of the numerology doesn't associate this to karma, but I do see it as very much connected to cosmic karma, around manifestation and completion. So, and it's interesting because when you look at the number 12, when you do numerology, we always break it down to single digits. So we add 1 plus 2, which equals 3. But 12 is also divided by 3. So it's one of the few numbers that is dividable. The energies have been climaxing. If you haven't been feeling that, they've been climaxing, preparing us for this point. So some of us have been extraordinarily sick. A lot of us have been experiencing extreme hardships out of the blue, or health issues, or big changes and shifts. So when we look at the number 12, we associate the number 12. It's also associated with Pisces, which I kind of chuckled because I am a Pisces. So for those who feel the Pisces flare, this is going to be a very emotional day. The number 12 is also associated with the 12 months of the year, 12 hours on the clock, the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 astrological houses. It is also associated with the 12th card in the tarot deck, which is the Hangman, which is actually a very profound energy surrounding sacrifice and the inner conflict that's arising from all these divergent energies that move throughout nature. That to me is huge. That's what I felt. I don't know if that's what you've been feeling. I'd be curious to hear some input from you as we're going through this. And it also represents the key to enacting the creative energy. So because it's related to the creative energy, for those of you who are musicians, who like to sing, who like to dance, who play music, it is also representative of the 12 major half tones in music and creativity. So this is a good time to get creative, to use those creative outlets to help us move and shift vibration, right? Because again, we're all vibration, we're all frequency. So it's shifting the frequency and it's shifting the vibration. Now I mentioned to you earlier the 12, also when you break it down in numerology, 1 plus 2, right, equals 3. Well, when we look at the 1 and the 2 in the numbers, 1 is a prime number, which signifies what? A beginning. It is singular in nature. It's about me, right? It's solo. It is also related to completion, perfection, harmony, motivation, achievement, independence, okay? 2 is, I see as the duality number. It's the yin and the yang. It's about seeing two sides of a coin, okay, or two sides of any situation, diplomacy. It's partnership. It's mutable, okay? So this energies for today encompasses all of this. Now, the first card in the major arcana in tarot is the Magician. So the Magician card I always see is, you always see this man juggling, right? All these different elements, okay? Which means that you have all the tools. It's the beginning. You have everything, all the undertakings, the impulse for in order to create something magical. Okay, all the potentiality is here and in our hands. All right. The second card in the major arcana is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess personifies the secret knowledge as well as the immobility. So for those of you who may have feel stuck or frozen, this might resonate for you. Okay, so this is about urging you to trust your gut, and works very harmoniously with the Magician card. So now we bring it into the 3. We add the 1 and the 2, and which makes 3. So what does this mean when we look at 333, right? The 3 for the month, 3 for the day, and 3 for the year. All right. As many of you have been hearing me say throughout the year, this is where the past, present, and future have been colliding. Everything that's generational, everything that's personal, karmic, it's all coming to a head as we speak, okay? And I read this quote once, I'm going to read it to you, and it resonated perfectly. The number 3 is like a gifted teenager who is still under the protection of its parents. A bit spoiled, certainly scattered, and perpetually in the need of guidance. Chew on that one for a little bit and see if that's kind of where you may feel where your energy is at right now. The number 3 is also associated as a key number to the universe. It's connected to the wooden element in Chinese numerology, which is also connected to metaphorical birth, and metamorphosis. It's connected to originality, communication. It's considered an ascended master number. And in tarot, it's connected to the Empress card, okay, which represents feminine power, fertility, abundance, nurturing, the love of home and family. And it is considered particularly positive, that signifies exceptional well-being and limitless good fortune. The number 3 is also connected to 3 strong scientists. You will see 3 talked a lot about with Tesla and Pythagoras, as well as Isaac Newton. So if you don't know Tesla, if you've never heard of him, just in case, because I don't know who has and who hasn't. And hi, Paula. Nikola Tesla was a Serbian scientist born on the 10th of July, 1856. And in 1884, he moved to America. He was known as a really, excuse me, he did go toe-to-toe and head-to-head with Einstein during the whole electricity and power war. Hi, Carrie. And he did help revolutionize, like, our ability to use cell phones is accredited to Tesla, all right? The ability to transfer clean energy is attributed to Tesla. So this is how Tesla kind of comes into play here. Tesla would always make sure things also, he had an obsession with the number 3. There are stories where he wouldn't go to stay in a hotel room unless it either added to a number 3 in the hotel room number or it ended in the number 3, okay? And he says if you knew the numbers, the magic of 3, 6, and 9, then you have the keys to the universe. This is what Tesla understood. Now, Pythagoras taught everything in the universe has a 3-part structure. So every problem in the universe could be reduced dramatically into a triangle and into the number 3. Isaac Newton, who became the basis of what we consider modern physics, saw 3 laws of motion. But what people don't really know about him is that he was also very mystical and interested in alchemy. So the number 3 is also associated with alchemy. Now, when we look at the time, 24 and 6, 2, again, the duality number. 4 is all about connecting and tapping into spirit and moving up. We're going to be talking a lot about connecting to soul at the Women's Retreat in January 12th. If you haven't registered, because we're doing a numerology component. We're going to do our individual. I'm going to teach you how to do your own individuality numerological charts. as well as what the overall forecast is for 2020, because it's a 4-year. It's going to be a big year. Now, 6 I see is a number. I don't care what is you find online. I always associate 6 as a relational number. It's also connected to the Lover's card in tarot. So it's very connected to the whole family love kind of theme and relational theme. 333 was just the last 3 numbers of my mileage 15 minutes ago. See? The universe is talking and never doesn't end here. So here are some takeaways. Now, I've been saying a lot, and I'm talking extremes. We are completing a decade, people. This is a decade, not just a year. This is the last full moon of the decade and the year. Now, we look at this being a 3-year. Again, I mentioned past, present, future is colliding. All these different things, generational stuff going 7 generations. So you're talking hundreds of years of stuff that's surfacing. Be very mindful. If you've experienced a life filled with shocks or trauma, then this full moon might be extra significant for you. This is where things get leveled up, literally. Life begins to become experienced harmoniously. If you've done the work, you've got to do the inner work, all right? And if you've done the inner work, then life will start to begin to be experienced harmoniously when we connect to the greater cosmic flow of the universe, okay? Or with karma, because karma is just karma, okay? It is important to be willing and conscious in conscious cooperation with the spiritual world. This is leading us up to the spiritual themes that are going to be playing out in 2020. To be free from selfishness and the willingness to be self-sacrificing for the common good. Okay, so this is about the greater whole versus the self. But we need, in order to deal with the self, in order to help the greater good. So this is where it's the duality, right? Okay, the duality with the two. So it's an invitation and opportunity to turn over this new leaf. This is why some people are experiencing it hard. If you're experiencing it hard, I would say, what is resisting within you? So today is about releasing the past. It's about the unconventional thinking. It's about the creative expressions, reconciling the internal conflicting energies. Okay, so if you're spiritually bypassing and saying, avoiding the inner work, then you are missing the opportunity here, okay? Going within for the answers and healing those old wounds, I cannot tell you, you've been hearing me say this all year, how crucial this is, okay? So moving forward in dealing with this is the opportunity that this full moon is giving us. I couldn't go to bed until 1 o'clock this morning, which is why I couldn't get up early enough to do this live feed, okay? Because the full moons were stirring up all kinds of stuff within myself as well. I just got over being sick. If you guys have been hearing me say, I've had some stuff stuck here for a year. I've been working through and trying to work out my own languaging and learning how to decolonize myself and my thinking, so that way I can become more ingrained and more evolved as a healer, as a leader in the spiritual community, to enact in social structures and social justice projects to become a better human being on this planet. Okay, it doesn't happen without doing the work. The key to reconciling the internal conflict is inherent in the number 12 number. This is where it all boils down to. So it's important. 12 is about all going inside and doing the work with these conflicting energies. Okay, it's that duality. Excuse me. See, I still got that shit coming up. The cautions, here are the cautions. This can also sometimes come across as being very selfish and almost in a way of being irresponsible. So it is not good if you're not managing your time good, or if you're becoming inefficient. I would say check yourself a little bit and be very mindful. So there's a lot of things at play here. We've also got the sun that's in a solar minimum. It's been very quiet for a week. So that can be equally as triggering for people that might have anxiety, PTSD, or have a history of trauma, as a solar flare, because that means that the earth is more porous to cosmic rays. So we've got all these things that are at play right now. And for everything that you might find as a challenge, I would challenge you to say, take a breath. Nothing here is here to hurt you. Like when I was sick, I just laughed it up and say, finally, I'm breaking free from some of these things. God, it only took for me to get sick. Because we're human. We don't always know what it is that our body needs to get stuck, and sometimes it needs the sickness to slow us down to help us push through some of these things. Does anybody have any questions on any of the things that you might be experiencing, and did any of this make sense for you? Mind peak this morning. I ate humble pie this morning at work. Yeah, humility is a big lesson for us right now, okay? And I would just say be gentle with yourself. And when we're gentle with ourselves, it doesn't mean that we're not aware, that we don't be responsible for our actions, that we don't be responsible for our thoughts. It just means when we step out of sight of soul, and our spirit self, when we lose track, sometimes we need that humility to kind of bring us back to our soulful place. So thank you for recognizing that and for stepping forward into that path, Paula. Thank you. Anybody else? I think I want to pull a card for the day before we close out and see what the cards have to say. And this whole thing, by the way, with the impeachment process going on that we're seeing going on in our politics is also key. There's no coincidence for any of this, okay? Again, I will be on Sunday, I will be serving the First Spiritualist Church in Rhode Island, and we'll be doing a mini class on numerology. And I will be also, interesting. So this is the card that got pulled for today. So resentment. So again, holding on to the resentment. Sometimes we don't think we have resentments, but we do. We all do. It's part of who we are and what we're doing. Okay? But the resentments are tied into needing to do the inner work. That's why we need to do the inner work. And this is why we don't take life so serious. Okay? The dolphin, it's knowing how to use imagination and play. Okay, this is like the yin and the yang, right? It's the balance. This is the dance we're in. We're at home stretch. And, 2020 is going to be a huge year for a lot of people. So, again, we'll be doing more in-depth discussion about the numerology forecast for 2020, a little bit on Sunday, but we're going to be going in on depths on it during the Women's Retreat on January 12th. So, about what's happening collectively, but also individually. So I'll be teaching you how to do your own forecast for your own chart for next year, because there is a trick to it. So and I will show you how to do that. But it's a 12 day, again, full moon. There's no coincidence that we had a full moon at 12:12 in the morning on a 12:12 day, 12:12:12 or 12:12:3, so 3:3:3. So use that day, use today to sit and be and allow things to process. Get out of the head and into the body is what I usually tell everybody. So anybody else want to share anything before we kind of close out for the day? Okay. Well, I thank you for joining, and I hope you found what I went over today beneficial. So this is a big day to kind of shed another layer, being a 3-day on a 3-year. It's big. Again, there's no coincidence. This is the secrets to the universe. We can't keep running from this. The more we just dive into the spiritual realm and into that spiritual side, you'll see. You'll be into the flow. You won't have to work as hard. I promise you. All right? And I hope you all have a good day and use the energies wisely today. Be good.